IndyCar racing, uninhibited speed, uncompromising power, the battle and challenge of holding machine to track as surges of adrenaline mix with the physics of force. The outmaneuvering, outdueling of fellow drivers, and with chance and skill and luck intertwined, perhaps the checkered flag. And with that comes the fanfare, the limelight, the attention reserved for stars. Wonderful images, dreamlike thoughts, because for most of us, the closest we will ever come to being behind the wheel of an Indy race car is right here on television. If you're not born an Unser or an Andretti, where do you embark upon a career as an Indy race car driver? Well, we thought about this and we researched it. And we came up with one of the few locations in the entire world. It's an unintimidating place on the eastern plains of Colorado. We arrived at Second Creek Raceway, the home of the American School of Motor Racing, not long after the sun rose on a Monday. Our intent? To drive an Indy race car, the most powerful and intimidating machine with four wheels, the domain of Mears and Sullivan and Fittipaldi. But before that desire could be fulfilled, there was much to learn. Our education would begin here in an inauspicious yet very functional trailer adjacent to the track. Our mentor, our coach, our confidant these next few days would be Bill Heitkamp, a former racer who now runs the school. Bill, like many people who are involved in motorsports, has a passion for what he does, whether it's driving fast, teaching someone else to drive fast, or turning a wrench on a Lola Cosworth engine. The student-to-teacher ratio in our class was excellent. There were three of us. John Roach, an accomplished dirt track driver embarking on a new mode of racing, Ken Miller, our producer with little experience beyond rambling down the highway in his Ford Bronco, and me, like Ken, a neophyte, outside of frequent dashes to the airport and a modest accumulation of speeding tickets.
Our school is a lot like most of the schools in the country in the beginners area, where we use sedan, Formula Ford, chalk talk, classroom. We have one thing that separates us from the rest of the schools, is the IndyCar. We're the only school in the country that allow an individual coming off the street with proper instruction, or another race car driver, to have that special experience and thrill of an IndyCar. There's nothing like it. It's the pyramid, I would say, of race cars by anybody's standard. I think each person that I've had go through the school has had a different thought about what it gave them. One young man told me that it gave him control and authority. He felt like that's something he never had anywhere else, that he was in control of what was going on. Me, I've driven a lot of different race cars, and it means something different to me. I like nothing better than when I've had a long, hard day to get in a race car, in the Indy car, and take it out here and make some laps. It relaxes me. It gives me a good feeling, and I can settle down with that. Some of the other guys say, God, it's just, I shake in my boots when I get in the car, and after a few laps, it's just the best. I mean, you can't replace it with anything else. First thing we're going to do is we're going to walk the racetrack the normal direction it's run, which is counterclockwise. And then we'll talk about each corner, the lay of the land, some things about the line, kind of give you guys an idea where we're starting. And then after we get most of the way around, we'll walk it back the opposite direction to show you what it looks like going the other way.
I'm really excited about it. Kenny and I had talked about this for a long time, and I think it's an unusual opportunity because most people watch the Indianapolis 500 and have seen automobile racing at different times in their lives, and very, very few of us ever have the opportunity to do it. And I think there's a little of that race car mentality or wanting to go fast in most of us. We do it on the highway. Sometimes we're rushing to work. You want to go a little fast, and you get a little thrill out of going 70 miles an hour and being out in front and passing everybody on the highway. And that definitely exists in me. But right now, I think it's easy to say because I haven't been scared. I haven't had the car spin. He keeps talking about Bill keeps saying, I'm going to have the car spin for you a couple of times so you know what it feels like. You know, who knows how I'll get out of the car after that. But right now, I'm really looking forward to it. I'm excited about it.
Having a wealth of experience in sprint cars and midgets, basically and mostly on dirt, this is going to be a new experience for me, and I'm really looking forward to it.
Well, my fear is obviously a crash. You see this on TV, hitting the wall. There's no walls out here, there's tires. But I don't want to become a human fireball. That's my goal.
Now, it doesn't make any difference if we're in a sedan, a Formula Ford, or an Indy car. They all do the same thing once you're up to speed. So the thing is that when you get in the race car, it's not going to look the same to you as it does from here. The reason we're doing this is to give you every view we can to get that in your mind. So once you attack the race course, you have a better idea of what the car does and what you have to do to handle the car.
So for more than 2.5 hours, we walked every inch of the 1.7-mile track, learning the correct line, where exactly we should have the car on the racetrack, where to begin the apex of a turn, and where we should be accelerating, braking, and shifting. The process of our education would be incremental. The first time we pulled helmet overhead would be as a passenger in a rear-engine modified Fiat X19. Bill would do the driving.
First thing we're going to do is we're going to drive around the race course nice and slow. We're going to talk about the line. The corner we're in here first, starting out is the boot. You notice there's a tree. You drive to the tree, turn hard right, get that wheel down there on the cement, let the car have its head, and come to the outside of the racetrack. Now, we want to stay to the left. We're on the straightaway. We want to stay to the left. Third gear in here. Pick up fourth gear right down here at the escape road. The red dot on the building down there is a good marker. We head right straight for it. The sedan is a car that is a pretend race car. It's a street car that we're taking out here on the road course with a little bit better rubber than it came with from the factory. It's a stock street car, just like you would drive every day back and forth to work. In fact, this car is streetable. And it takes discipline to drive it. It floats a lot. It moves around a lot on the racetrack. And it gets the feel in the driver's seat of the pants, how it gets him to operate the vehicle. Gives him some opportunity to drive the car, not just get in a car that's like a go-kart and steer it around there. You guys did a good job. You're good students. You all listened, and you picked it up real quickly, and you're going to get through this thing in flying colors. I think when we get to the Fords, you're going to be really surprised. You may have some apprehension right now of how you feel about this, and it's a good time to think about it because you need to really think about it a lot. When you get in the Ford is so much different and so much faster and easier to drive that the sedan is a real teacher for the Formula Ford. So when you get in there, you'll really grab a hold of it. You'll have a lot of fun. Fun's about to start.
We could rest that night knowing that in the morning, the fun, as Bill describes it, would be in graduating to a true race car, a Formula Ford. Each day would begin similar to the previous day, with a classroom discussion of what was to be accomplished that day and an emphasis on safety and caution behind the wheel.
If you think anything about yourself at all, and most of us at this point in time would like to be in one piece after we get out of these race cars, wear your safety equipment. Simpson has given us the best. So go get your safety equipment on and let's go meet the race car.
The race car is a 900-pound English-built Formula Ford with a rear-engine 540 Lola. It is capable of speeds in excess of 140 miles per hour. The tachometer is straight ahead. We were told to shift at 6,000 RPM. The 4-speed shifter is on the right of the cockpit. Kenny would be the guinea pig. He was strapped in at the waist, crotch, and shoulders. I assisted him rather clumsily with the head sock. A quick adjustment was made on the clutch so it adhered to Kenny's leg length. Helmet firmly in place and radio communication established, we were ready. Hopefully, Kenny was as well.
Getting into the Formula Ford for the first time, I felt real nervous. And after the first few turns, I really started feeling comfortable. I felt better about, racing. And then all of a sudden, all these thoughts of what it would be like with 40 cars out there passing, started getting the adrenaline really pumping.
Kenny, how do you feel? Take it easy. Just do what comes naturally to you. You're looking good.
Kenny's doing good. You hear him in the background?
Kenny, I think, kind of surprised us all. He started out a little slow in the sedan, a little apprehension. He's pretty nervous. We put him in the Ford, and believe it or not, second out, he's the fastest guy in a Ford here today. He's come probably further than anyone here today, making the transition from the sedan to the Formula Ford. He's done an excellent job.
Next up was John, which gave Kenny and I further opportunity to observe the intricacies of driving the Formula Ford.
He did that a lot faster than he did the last time.
That's correct. You get a little bit of heat in the tires, making the thing work.
After John completed his initial Formula Ford laps, he and Kenny were able to compare notes. We all found this to be helpful throughout our time in school. I, however, had yet to drive the Ford and was trying to gather all the information I could.
I watched Kenny. Kenny, you gave me some confidence. I feel pretty good. But I'll tell you what, it's amazing watching you because you were so much, you look like you were flying in that thing. Especially down the straightaway.
You are.
Where'd you shift, on the white line?
Well, I was looking at the concrete.
Right.
Once I got to the end of the concrete, I shifted, put the brake on, shifted, and then coasted into the corner. And
accelerated out?
Accelerated out.
And what, does it slide just like the sedan?
Not as much. I mean, it's not as much.
Really?
No.
Yeah. So
Drew, what I want you to do out there is I want you to do what we talked about in the sedan. Don't worry about the speed. Drive the corner correctly. If you go too fast and you run off, we talked about that, how to handle that. Do what's comfortable to you. If it's not comfortable, cease and desist from doing it. Do something else. If you have a problem, talk to us on the radio. 6,000 RPMs, 90 degrees centigrade on the water, 50 to 60 on the oil. And go out there and show us what you can do. Thanks, Drew.
Bill, I make all the turns the same, just like the sedan. Nothing different because I'm in the Ford, as far as where I am on the throttle or brake or anything like that, or line.
Do everything the same that you did it in the sedan, and as you drive the Ford, you'll see the differences, and you'll make adjustments for it. And I'll monitor you on each corner and see how you're doing, and when we get a few laps in, we'll bring you in and we'll talk about where the problem areas are and get you straightened out, and we'll practice some more. All right, Drew?
Thanks, Bill.
Good luck out there.
Thanks.
it rolling here. Let's get it rolling. He's doing real good. He's driving a real good line. He's having a little problem down in spectator hook. Other than that, he's looking real good. How did it feel?
Oh, great. That's one of the greatest natural highs I've ever had. That's unbelievable. It feels great. It's smoother. It's much smoother than the sedan.
Isn't that a lot better?
Much smoother.
Don't you feel
You
comfortable?
feel all the little bumps in the road and everything.
But you feel more in control, don't you?
But, God, that was unbelievable.
They've done real well. They've followed the line well. They've done everything that I could expect of them. And they're getting ready to get into the IndyCar, and I think that it's going to be a great day for them tomorrow. It's going to be a time in history for them, I think. I know it is for me.
The night before our day in the IndyCar reminded me of nights from my childhood when you were excited with anticipation for the following morning. Maybe it was a big ball game or Christmas or your birthday. For us, it was an opportunity few ever have, the chance to stand on the throttle of a vehicle so powerful it boggles the mind. To me, a novice, and to many far more experienced motorsports veterans, the pinnacle of the sport is the IndyCar. There is Daytona and Le Mans and Monaco, and then there is Indianapolis. This day couldn't last long enough. Row 1 at Second Creek Raceway, John Roach, Ken Miller, Drew Goodman. Gentlemen, start your engines.
More gas?
Yeah.
Gentlemen, start your engines again.
Oh, he's getting the hang of it.
It had all started at the Grand Prix of Denver as one of those wouldn't it be wild to drive an IndyCar type of ideas. And then it became a reality. I found my conversation during the weeks preceding racing school dominated by my experience. It began as nervous anticipation. There were moments of questioning my sanity, initial feelings of claustrophobia upon my first time in the Fiat with a helmet on. But they were quickly displaced by the thrill of squeezing the throttle while watching pavement and objects fly by, and hearing the engine rev and thunder as my proficiency gained. Where at first Kenny and I spoke primarily of control, it grew to conversations of speed and control. We were trying to better lap times, our apprehensions mitigated with each lap. The final couple of days, I only half-kiddingly suggested embarking on a new avocation. It was one of those experiences in life that lived up to expectations. For John Roche, it was more than a memorable week. He already was entered in an American IndyCar Series race in Nova Scotia the following week, where he would put to test what he had learned under fire, in traffic. It was a week we won't soon forget, and an experience I'd like to duplicate again. For a day, we could be Andretti and Sullivan, and for a day, we got the checkered flag.